community.
There they are.
We're in community.
We're
I know we're in conversation. We're in community.
Hey,
We're in
how are you,
friendship.
Maria?
Hi, guys.
Maria.
I'm so excited. I was just talking about how much more fun it is to do something with someone you love or someone you admire or someone who has a shared mission, which is why I'm so happy that you two, I was just talking about your great new book, urging everybody to go out and get it, and to get it also as a gift to give other people, because as you say in here, who doesn't want to be happier? But most of us don't even know what that's like. Arthur, I heard you say that you think this is a handbook of sorts for all of us.
It's
Tell us
for the
why
longest
that
time
is.
people have been asking these questions about how can I can manage my money, I can manage my family, I can manage my household, but I can't manage my feelings. And I realized that there's so much about the science of emotion that people just don't know. We need an owner's manual for our own emotions. And when we understand ourselves and we practice these things a little bit, it's not rocket science. Well, it's science, but it's not rocket science. And we can all do this, get better at it, and set ourselves free. That's why Oprah and I wrote this book.
Right. So we didn't grow up with people talking to us about
Right.
managing our emotions. I mean, I know I certainly didn't. I know Oprah didn't. And I don't know about you, but this is kind of a newer thing. Learn how to manage your emotions, social and emotional learning now coming into schools. Why is it so important, Oprah, you think, to talk particularly to young people about learning to manage their emotions and not waiting until you're our age?
I think, Maria, talking to young people is really important, but I know so many older people who've not yet learned to do it well, who can't separate their feelings from who they really are and get overwhelmed by the feelings and start to feel that whatever they're feeling is them. They feel the anger to the point where they allow themselves to be controlled by it, or they feel the sadness or the loneliness to the point of letting themselves be controlled by it. And I think one of the things that Arthur speaks so poignantly to is this idea of metacognition, being able to feel the feeling but also take the wheel for yourself, being able to feel the feeling and separate your emotions from you, and to understand that it's a feeling. Allow yourself to feel it, allow it to pass through, feel it all, and then move on, because you are not those feelings.
I love in the book you say, Oprah, like feel the feelings and then grab the wheel, or feel the wheel. Both of you in this book talk a lot about people having agency, having the power, being the captain of their own soul, the captain of their own life. And that most people think, I'll be happier when I'm chosen by some partner, when I get the job that I think I have, when someone tells me I'm great. And I love that you say in this book, do not wait. You have the power today, wherever you are, no matter what you are doing, to actually take control and get happier. So tell people out there, how do they actually do that? What is the first step? Because people are like, no, I don't.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the first thing is we have to get beyond a bunch of mistakes that we make about happiness. Everybody says, I want to be happy, but, and then they talk about their finances, and they talk about their health, and they talk about their relationships, and they talk about school, whatever it happens to be. This is a big mistake in a bunch of different ways. Number one, happiness is not a feeling that you hope to get and wait for. Feelings are evidence of happiness. It's like the smell of dinner is the evidence of dinner, but it's not dinner itself. That's number one. Happiness is something you can really understand if you actually learn a little bit about it. The second thing, and this is a point that Oprah makes and has made for a long time, the goal is not perfect happiness. You don't want perfect happiness. No bad feelings. You'd be dead in a week. You actually need hard experiences. You need to learn things. The point is not to be perfectly happy on this side of heaven. The point is to get happier. So Oprah made up this word in our book. By the way, I've been teaching this to my students at Harvard ever since you made up the word. The goal is not happiness. The goal is happierness, because that's the kind of progress that we want to make. And along the way, we're going to have hard feelings, and we're going to feel afraid, and people are going to bother us. And what we're supposed to do is to manage our emotions. And this is the manual for how to do that, so that we can learn from those experiences and grow from those experiences. And that's our process of happierness.
Yes, and what can you do in the moment to make
Right.
yourself happier
Right.
than you are right now. If you are feeling sadness or sorrow or grief or whatever is going on, what can you do in the moment to make yourself feel happier right now? Not, gleeful, joyful somersault. I always use the somersault emoji. No, you're not flipping somersaults, but what can you do to just raise the vibration to the point where you're not stuck in whatever that emotion that so many people allow to take over their entire lives?
One of the things I thought in the book that I think, because we only have such a limited amount of time, but things that I thought really are powerful to say is unhappiness, work with it. Don't think there's something wrong with you if you are unhappy, if you are sad, as you just said, Oprah. People think something's wrong with me, that I feel lonely, sad, upset. Therefore, I can't achieve the happy state. And you're both saying, nothing wrong with you. That's part of life. Talk a little bit about that, because I think that helps people feel like, oh.
Well, what I love is that there's actually a test in the book that you can take. Did you take that test?
Yeah. Yes, I did take the test, but I think I came off as the cheerleader. And then I thought you said you were the judge and he's the mad scientist. So I was like, I think I better go back.
You are the cheerleader.
I think so too.
I think you are the cheerleader. You are one of the most positive people I ever know. You're always looking on the bright, bright, bright side. And I'm like, well, is it so bright? I'm not so sure.
That's called denial.
You are definitely a cheerleader. You and you know who else is a cheerleader? Your brother, Timothy. Oh my goodness.
That's right. He's fully alive. He's also in denial. That's the Catholic thing.
No, it's true. That one of the things that Oprah and I did in the book, and it's on the book's website, so people can go and take the test too, is to find out what their emotional profile is. The beginning of managing your emotions is understanding your unique emotional profile. A lot of people, they'll say, I feel these negative things. I must be broken. There must be something wrong with me. No.
Right.
Lots of people have intense negative emotions. Some don't. Some have intense positive emotions. Other people don't. And so there's 4 profiles that we talk about that are based on a very good scientific test of emotional, and to make you emotionally aware of yourself. And once you know that, you can manage yourself. You can manage your relationships. You can look for the right person to date. You can look for the right kinds of friends that can complement you in a better way. And you can really be free, but it really starts with self-knowledge.
Tell the people what they are.
Well, there's 4 profiles that are, and here's how it works.
Tell the people on IG right now what they are, Professor.
So emotions, there's 2 kinds of emotions. There's negative emotions and positive emotions. That's different than good and bad. So it doesn't mean that positive is good and negative is bad.
Right. You need some water?
Yeah, I'm actually, I think I'm okay. I'm just getting all worked up here because I have such positive emotions about this. So the negative emotions are fear and anger and sadness and disgust, and positive emotions are feelings of affection and surprise and joy and interest. We want the positive ones. We don't want the negative ones. But the truth is we get all of them. We need that so that we can actually survive in the world. Some people feel them very intensely and some people feel them not intensely. Now, there's a test in the book that shows you if you're an unusually intense positive or a usually intense negative. If you're high negative and high positive, that's the mad scientist profile. That mad scientist, that's me. I'm the mad scientist here, right? And that means I feel things very, very intensely. But that also means I have to be careful because I'm going to drive everybody completely crazy with the up and down, and the up and down, and the up and down. Now, Oprah, she's a judge. A judge is somebody who has these emotions, but they're less intense. These are people who are lower affect. They're steady. They're good surgeons. They have really good judgment, right? And by the way, mad scientists and judges should write books together because we complement each other. Now, the other ones are high positive, low negative, and high negative and low positive. High positive, low negative, that's you, Maria. You're the cheerleader. That doesn't mean you don't have negative emotions. It means that you have low intensity of negative emotions. Now, everybody wants that. Everybody wants to be around you. You're the life of the party. And by the way, this is true. The danger is you have a hard time giving criticism and you have a hard time having people say negative things around you, but you're like, don't be a downer. Don't be so negative all the time. You know what happens when 2 highly positive, when these 2 cheerleaders, when they meet and marry, what happens? They don't see any bad thing that can happen. They spend all the money and go bankrupt. That's what happens when two cheerleaders marry. Oh, and then on the other side, high negative, low positive, these are poets. These are the people that feel very deeply and intensely the negative. They tend to be, well, they tend to be kind of negative. They see lots of threats, but they're also romantic. They're also creative.
I was going to say, aren't a lot of artists?
Oh, yeah, they really are. Yes. We need poets. Yes. We really do. Mm-hmm. But you got to know yourself. I know too many poets who go to therapy and say, my bad feelings, I'm broken. No. You're beautiful. You're an artist. You're a poet. But you need to know how to manage yourself so that you can learn and grow from these negative feelings.
So I love that. So you can take the test, understand who you are, understand how to manage your emotions, maybe understand who you're working with and how they might be different from you, who you might be in a relationship. You guys also talk about kind of the four main areas to focus on, and that really all of the science boils down to your family, your faith, right? Your friends and your work. Now, we have a 40-some-year relationship, and I can attest that my friendships, they're not that many of them, but they're deep, and they carry me through 100%, right? As does my faith. And yet we also have in this country people not going to church, not expressing their faith, not being comfortable in their faith. And we have a nation of workaholics, right? And we have so many families that are broken apart. So how do we get people to look at these four things and then say, like, okay, I need to invest in these four things, work at these four things? You talk about it's important to work at them. You don't just have
well, I just want to say, too, before doing this interview, I was thinking of those four principles of family and faith and work and friendships. You major in that. I mean, you are so solid, still going to church with your children on Sundays. You are... You're solid. You're solid. Calling to check on her friends. She calls regularly to check, and even if it's just like checking in, how are you doing? Send a text, let me know.
Right.
Yeah. You are strong with that.
Yeah.
It's really good. I mean, we have a tendency to think of these things, which are, by the way, the institutions of love of the divine, love of our families, love of our friends, our real friends, not just our deal friends. Love of everybody is expressed through our work. I mean, this is what Oprah does. Her work is a love letter. I mean, it's so important because it's all about expressing love in the way that she earns her daily bread, and we can all do that as well. The problem is love kind of is a nice to have for a lot of people. You'd never go a whole day without eating. You know, you wouldn't do many of these things, but you have to understand that your love relationships are the sustenance for your soul. So you have to treat them as such, and you should ask yourself every day, did I check in? Did I say my prayers if that's what you're doing, or doing my meditation? Did I read the wisdom literature that I said I was going to read to get the sustenance that you actually need? Or look, your life is just not going to be the way you want it to be. Yeah. Did I call my family members? Did I let that little disagreement come between us and make it because Uncle Joe voted for the other political party? No, that's like not eating anymore in your relationships. It's a huge problem.
And we have to say that when we're talking about faith in the book, we're not telling anybody about being any kind of religion. I know you both are Catholic, but there are many ways to show and demonstrate your faith, your level of spirituality, and your understanding that there's something in life that's bigger than you. Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
The key thing is, if you want to be happy, you got to get small compared to the universe. Yeah. And only a spiritual or transcendental or metaphysical experience will let you do that. And people neglect that at their peril. That's what it comes down to. But the bottom line is, these things are the fundamentals for living a happy life, and we have to put them into our schedule. Like 3 o'clock, call mom, no joke.
Yeah. I love that, because it comes back to the power that each individual has, the agency that each individual has, and also the idea that you have to invest in your friendships, invest in your faith, however you describe it.
I actually think it's one of the reasons that we as a world space are headed, for trouble, because there's such a lack of, for so many people, what the internet has done is just made them believe in themselves, and in the visual external things that they're seeing, about judging themselves by other people's external life and judging their internal life based upon what they're seeing. And other people's external life. And when you don't have an understanding that you are not everything, you are not all, you are not it all the time, but there is something greater at work than yourself, I don't even know how you survive in
I don't know. You put one foot in front of the other. You know, it's really interesting. Yeah.
Yes. So what do you say to people? Like I was saying to Oprah this morning, Arthur, I was off social media for the month of August through Labor Day, and it was really freeing. It was really, because I think it impacts all of us, right? You're looking at what everybody else is doing, and I'm, you know, in my 60s, and my kids are like, oh my God, I should be further along. I see my friends, they're doing this, they're doing this. And Oprah, I know you spoke even this morning about your own experience lately on social media when you tried to do such a good thing. The People's Fund of Maui, I contributed to it. I suggest anybody, $5, $10, $1,000. The intention, the offering of that is to help other people. It's about supporting other people. It's about putting your money where your mouth is and then inviting a community to join you. That's the whole
That was my intention.
point.
But when I got hit with such vitriol online, the thing, I was saddened by it, but not saddened for myself personally as much as I was for, oh, this is where we are now.
Right.
This is where we are, that you make an offering of $10 million for a fund and say, come join me in this fund, as Dolly Parton had done, because I was trying to follow in Dolly's footsteps, and it had worked so well for her in Gatlinburg. And then it seems like the world is turning on you because you did that. Well, one of the things that I did to offer myself some comfort during that time was, first of all, the metacognition. That's happening outside. That's not me. I turned to prayer, turned to my faith. I called my dear friend Wintley Phipps. We sat and read Psalms 91 together, he that dwelleth in the Most High. And I sat for the entire afternoon doing my gratitude journal. So the thing that lifted my vibration, the thing that brought me out of, you know, a sense of sadness, a sense of betrayal, a sense of confusion, was turning to gratitude. And then I got up and I went and visited the neighbors whose houses had been burned near me to see what I could do for them.
Yeah.
So that extending yourself to somebody else also makes you feel better.
I love that because everybody's been impacted by social media. So what Oprah just laid out is a way, whether you're 16, whether you're 30, 40, whether you have a child that has been bullied online, what you just laid out is a way to deal with when people are coming at you. Expressive writing, right? Gratitude, reaching out to someone who can help you in whatever way. You know, when I've had trouble, I've reached out to Oprah and I hear her voice. So whatever it is that calms you, that you know works for you, and then going out of yourself and realizing, I always think of really most of the world also is out there and is so glad to see you. They're not talking
about the people
who
are receiving the funds are really happy about it.
And by the way, you know, this is a very important thing to keep. There's a lot of research on social media. What we all have to understand, especially about internet bullying, we are all open to being bullied. Why? Because the internet, especially social media, is full of people who are malignantly narcissists. And this gives them an amplification mechanism. And when you do something good, they're coming after you. That's what malignant narcissists do. It's a phenomenon in my business called the dark triad: narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy. And it's in 7% of the population. Now, we wouldn't see them. We would avoid them in real life. You can't avoid them on the internet. And 400 of them make themselves look like 4 million. But remember, all of us who are trying to do work on the internet, trying to help other people, not just people with a big platform, but all the people watching us who want to do good in the world, don't be bullied by a narcissist. On the contrary, keep doing good. And when they make you feel fear, respond to that fear with even more love, because that's what the world needs right now, the most of it. That's why we have these platforms in the first place.
Galatians 6:9, let not yourself grow weary of doing good.
Exactly right.
There you go.
Are neither one of you are weary? You're just starting out. You're just pushing this out. What's your hope for this book, Oprah?
I hope that it can be a light in people's lives. I hope that it actually can be a manual for retraining the way you see what happiness can look like for you and defining it on your own terms. That's what I hope.
If we want a better world, it's not enough for us to go out and say, here's the politics that we need. Here's all the solutions in government. No. We need a movement of ordinary people that want to be happier and are looking for the solutions. We need a happiness movement. And when we're looking for happiness together and sharing the ideas with each other, the world gets better on its own. And this is our offering. Oprah and I got together because we're frustrated over the fact that there's so many solvable problems and so much pain that we could avoid. We wrote this book because we want to start a movement. We want a happiness rebellion.
I love that. And also, once again, they came. Yeah, I like that. I like that because they came together. They didn't try to do it alone. I think that's also a big part of, you know, everybody, as you said, Oprah is off doing their own brand building, their own, you know, things over here. And all of these other people were like, let's get together. Let's build a rebellion. Let's have a revolution of love, of kindness, of happiness, of joy. They don't, the vast majority of us don't.
Well, he was already doing it at Harvard. He's teaching at Harvard. And I said, how do we give greater voice to this? How do we let more people, what if we could bring everybody into that Harvard class so that, because we all can't take the Harvard class, but we all now can read what he has to say about happiness and learn for ourselves how to begin to build the life we want.
Love that, Oprah.
All right, babe.
Love you. Arthur, love you too. Thank you both so much for doing this. I know you have a busy day. The book came out today. They're promoting it. Go buy it. It's wonderful and it's beautiful. Always Oprah always does beautiful books.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
Thanks, Maria. Talk soon.
Love you both.